Yo, what's up, guys? Today, I'm going to show you how I turn this into this. Let's start with the master bus. Simple SSL comp, bro. And this helps glue the mix together. It does magic things. Fuck it, let me just play it. If you really want to hear what this is doing, let me really crank it. Alright, so drum bus. First in chain, imager, exciter. This monos all of the low end below 80 hertz. It's more of a low-end control thing. I feel like on toms, specifically on these samples, there's a lot of low-end sustain going on in the sides, and that gets kind of disorienting for me. So, all right, next in chain, MaxxBass. This takes your low-end frequencies and copies it over to the mid-range so you can hear it on phone speakers. You can also crank your low end a lot louder than you would be able to normally, just because it's increasing the perceived amount of low end. It's doing it in a way that's not going to hit your limiter hard. Like, it's not going to distort. This right here, this is the sauce right here, API Podfarm. It's a wacky EQ curve, dude, but it just sounds great. And so I just slap it on there. Then we have a clipper. I put this on here to control the peaks. It helps me get the whole mix louder. Really killing that snare. This is also a loudness thing. So that's controlling the subs. I like to mix with a lot of low end, and it can get out of hand sometimes. So I slap this on there and it fixes the problem. You ever run into the problem where, oh, I'm turning my snare up and now it's too loud, or oh, I'm turning it down, now it's too quiet? This solves it. So this is really similar to the Nolly trick, but the Nolly trick just has it on just the bus with no sidechain into it using FG Gray. When you have a song with a lot of kicks in it, the sidechain filter doesn't really work as well, so I just like sending the individual levels of the shells into it, so I have the ultimate control over what's really hitting the compressor. And then in terms of the kick, let's start here. So the kick I use is One Kit Wonder Metal. A healthy dip at 100, a healthy dip at 200, and then a very wide boost. I want to reshape the low end so that it's more focused around 50 hertz and less around 100, because 100 is where the bass guitar sits. Basically, this kick trigger track is a duplicate track of this. This is a sample from the Joey Sturgis Fire Edition, and then I will cut a bunch of 100, cut a bunch of 200, boost a little bit of 50, and cut a little bit of 1K, around there to 3K. I will send these two tracks to their own bus, and then I'll send that bus to the drum bus. It looks like that I really hated 100 hertz and 200 hertz that day, so I cut even more of that out and I boosted a bunch of 50. And this is what that sounds like. It looks like I really hated all of the sub that I just boosted, so I wanted to control the dynamics of it. Snare I use is Snare 11 Z3. I am cutting a bunch of high mids because I thought it sounded splatty, and then boosting a bunch of air, and then getting rid of some overtones. So fastest attack, fastest release. I want massive amounts of sustain. I want all of that snare bottom to come out. I got a mono room sample from Modern or Massive under the snare top. And then I got the Slate Snare SSDR mic. Not much happening here, just boosting a bunch of air, cutting a bunch of high mids. And then on the master bus, I have smash and grab. I have the snare mode on, and I wanted even more sustain out of it, so I fucking slammed it. Doing a bit of parallel compression. I have the mix knob at 50. I know I just spent the past like 20 plugins removing all of the attack, but I guess I wanted a little bit of it back. So here is Transify boosting some mid. So that's what that's doing. On the toms, I got Pro MB controlling some sustain on the low end. I have it in expander mode. I have it so it's only listening to the top end. Very similar to the kick drum, except I have a fucking, what is this? I have a low cut at like 50 to control some subs. And then I have the shell overheads. I love the shell overheads because it's like a lot of the time when you close mic drums, the close mics sound nothing like the actual drum kit, which is the problem. And then you put the fucking shell overheads in there and then it fixes it. And then I have the FET compressor, fastest attack, fastest release, slamming on this. I feel like overheads are always the hardest thing to mix. When you're dealing with a microphone pointing at someone hitting a piece of metal with a wooden stick, I feel like you're always gonna be fighting an uphill battle. I wanted to get rid of all of the drum shells in there, so this is the crazy EQ curve that I did. So a lot of the drums are gone, but I wanted even less drums, so I slapped L2. This is the snare killer right here. You slap L2 on a pair of overheads and you clamp it down on that snare, it's gonna disappear in the mix. This is what it does, extreme mode. I would never run it that extreme, but that's kind of what it can do. Felt like it was a little too harsh and still felt like it had a little bit too much drum, so I slapped even more EQ on there. And then soothe because I thought it was harsh in a way that I didn't like. So room, same shit. I'm literally just cutting low mids and making it brighter. This is to get even more sustain, get more excitement out of that drum. And then all together. And boom, that's how I mixed Greg's drums for the last video I put up. Drums are really hard because they're just hard. And I wish I knew how to explain this shit better. Anyway.